I will first go wide, then I'll go slowly in. First about the mindset, about the heritage, about everything, how we do. I think it's not only Balkans. I think it's generally the Europe. When we move into stability and, let's keep it together for a day, then tomorrow is a new day. While in the US, it's like we have this urge to wake up next morning to actually change the world and change something. And it's years and years invested in building that kind of mindset. So it's you don't see it anywhere in the world, maybe Singapore or but it's not here in Europe yet. One of the reasons is regulations. Europe is over-regulated, so we don't have the ability to develop startup that fast as the people in the US. They have this marketing, sales mindset, and they have all the funds. So, for example, like the startup in Europe is like 50 employees. At the same stage, startup in the US, it's 150 people in the same stage. So it's totally different beasts because of the environment and funds and every other thing. But if we now move slowly to the Balkans and to Serbia, we all thought that youth are uninterested about the world or anything. They're sticking to their phones, living online, talking their own languages. I don't know, everybody is listening to all kind of music. They don't listen to the lyrics, for example, a lot of stuff. To be honest, I was one of those people at one moment. But we were all proved that we are totally wrong. I'm coming from Novi Sad, which is a city that has suffered a lot in the past. And now it's the city that died again almost a year ago on 1st of November when the canopy collapsed on a train station and it killed 16 people. One of them was my dear friend Vasko Sadovski from Macedonia. And we were all going to that train station to go to the Belgrade daily. So it's lucky that only 16 people got killed, if I can say that. But it sparked people to finally said no to the corruption. Right? We were having protests before, but the government made them not relevant because they say everyone can protest and we won't do anything about it. Right? So they don't intervene, people protest, and it lives like that. And when we started protesting about that canopy collapse at the train station, students of the Faculty of Dramatic Art protested in front of their faculty, and someone from the local regime sent cars. They were doing that after that a long time to kind of go through the people protesting on the street, blocking the street, like literally run through the car. And they started hitting students, but the first thing was they sent people in black. Now they're everywhere. We don't know if they are police or the military or some paid rightist groups to beat the students, right? And it kind of made the whole country, the whole student society, the whole academia, so I'm not totally against them, right? Just the way they speak sometimes, to stand up, to say we are now blocking the universities until we change things. And they did some of the things. I have it written just not to forget, because I'm somebody who does strategy for work, right? So I analyze how they were doing things, because a lot of people said, especially the older ones, they don't have a strategy, they don't know what they're doing, but they actually knew exactly what they are doing, because there were no specific names of the students in front of everybody. They say it's plenum. We made decisions on a plenum, we vote, and that's how we go in front. Why? Because that's how the regime cannot target specific people. Because they were trying to get those people and to, give them money or get them to the jail, whatever it is, to make them quiet, right? To make these things go away. And so they did a couple of things. They broke the cult of personality of Vučić, of our dictator. I don't know, he's the president, but he doesn't have, by constitution, he doesn't have any rights basically as a president, but he is breaking the constitutions every day. So they broke the cult of personality, showing that no leader is untouchable, and they say you are not relevant. We don't want to talk to you. We want the system to work. We want laws to work. We want somebody responsible for the canopy collapse. We want people who have beaten our colleagues to be in jail, right? They reclaimed the narrative and they refuse to be labeled. as somebody. They try to label them. They say it's a color revolution. They were even trying to ban from the country some students from Croatia, saying that they are foreign spies. All kind of things are happening daily. They ended the monopoly of fear by not being violent. They just stand in silence for 16 minutes on the streets every day at around the noon. It happened. It's still happening. But they changed a little bit the things. And they also took the public spaces away, right? The streets, those are not the places where, you can now go and live peacefully until something changes, right? And government is trying to take the story in their own direction. They cannot do it because what the students did, they didn't only protest in the streets. They say, okay, European Union doesn't care about us. Nobody in the world cares about us because Vučić delivers for all of them, right? Not to get into specific, but that's how it is. So they say we're going to ride bikes to Strasbourg to meet the European Union and tell them what's happening. So they did, and they got the voice heard throughout Europe by doing that. Other group ran to Brussels to do the same. Then they decided, okay, we're going to take over the social media. So they created specific channels of the plenums of each faculty. And this is where they are the best of, right? Nobody mentioned that you get informed on social media. I think that's not true. So people are following what they are talking about on social media, and they engage a lot of public views over there. But the thing is, those people who vote for Vučić are actually those who are, doesn't have access to the social media, or they follow the mass media. The regime controls the media. So they say we need to do something more. So they walk from from Novi Sad to Belgrade, from Belgrade to Kragujevac on foot, just like we did, in the World Wars when people walk from Belgrade to Albania to run away from the Germans. And it brought a lot of memories, but also connected people. Like older people were meeting them on the streets, giving them food, a lot of things, treating them like the saviors, right? So it kind of switched the narrative. But at one moment they saw, because like Vučić said, it's enough. We're going to bring the force. So they bring the police, and to people, youngsters, without any wish to become violent, they start beating them. Imagine like police, it's a silent protest, and they are bringing the fireworks and shooting with fireworks to the people. Really, that's happening. It's, when you are in Novi Sad and it looks like somebody is bombing the city. And, basically, like the guy hates his own people, right? But the thing is happening, he wants to stay for 2 more years so he get more money out of the expo, which is being prepared. I'm not going to get into specific what's happening, but from the side of the youth. So they saw that they can come up with the idea and bring an idea to life. So they thought, okay, we can make the system work, and then Vučić will become irrelevant, and we will have new people. We don't care who is the president. We want system to work. Why? Because we don't want to leave the country. 300,000 youth left Serbia in less 10 years. So they say, no, we don't want to go live in another country. We want to stay here. But they realized one thing. That's all that they could do. That's their limits, right? They can now come up with a list of people. They started demanding elections because they saw, okay, system won't work. We need to remove the people who are running the system so we can actually change the system. And now we are in a moment when we need older people, us, to come in and support them and take the narrative further, right? Because the regime is constantly, they are not arresting us, older people, they are arresting only the youth to make a point, right? And because they're just standing in the street, they remain locked up for like a month or more. Even a guy last week they didn't let him go and say farewell to his father. Actually, they let him in the last couple of minutes when he was dug into the ground with handcuffs on his legs, right? Because he just stand on the streets. And those kind of things are happening. So what now needs to happen? We have the young generation, which is connected more than any generation that I know. They all know each other because they were on the streets for a year. And I think when this finally ends, we will have a spark of startups, creativity, and all kind of things. I just want to bring a couple of data, right? 1 in 4 entrepreneurs here in Serbia is under 30. Despite people leaving the country and everything, there are 442 startups employing over 600 people. And the exports of ICT industries are worth 4.3 billions, which goes up 20% every year. So the talent, the creativity, the drive, it's all here. What we need to do, we need institutions to come together to support that, right? We need that part of the ecosystem to do the job. We need EU to recognize what's happening and support it. Because like youth will win. You cannot win against youth because it's just a matter of time. Newer generations are coming and they won't be silent. So, but if EU and other institutions support that, it will move forward. Because now we have basically the situation when we don't co-create. We just create against everybody. And I think that's what's happening to the youth everywhere, right? EU and everybody else said you have the support. They have the support if it's inside their agenda. But each country has the youth that think differently. And I think we need to change those kind of... Sorry for taking a little bit more time.